Ole Miss is such an explosive offense. They had more rushing yards than Navy, and all Navy does is run the ball. Okay? What is up, everybody? It is Jake with Master Football back at it again. Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things college football, pro football, Madden, EA college football, the draft, anything related to American football, hit that red subscribe button. You will not be disappointed. Also hit the like button too. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So for those of you who are college football fans out there, you guys will know that right now is what the experts would call a dead period. Now, there is some interesting news here. Okay, we do have spring practice starting here. There's going to be some spring games coming out, lots of content to work through there. However, up until that point, all we have is some practices. We have some tidbits, some interviews here and there. Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels. It's actually really interesting here because they had a situation last year where they weren't quite sure who the starting quarterback was going to be between two guys. And now they're in the same situation this next year. But the only difference is they've got a ton of talent at quarterback coming back this next season. Here we are on ESPN.com. Lane Kiffin excited over very competitive Ole Miss QB room. Ole Miss opened spring practice on Tuesday yesterday for you guys, with Coach Lane Kiffin excited about depth chart with last year's starter Jackson Dart, back with the addition of 2021 All Big 12 selection Spencer Sanders and former five-star prospect Walker Howard via the transfer portal. So you think about that. Jackson Dart, formerly of USC, comes over to Ole Miss after one season. Spencer Sanders, after 4 years at Oklahoma State, comes over to Ole Miss as well. And then Walker Howard, a former four-star over at LSU, comes over as well. Sanders was 31-12 as a starter at Oklahoma State. He led the conference with 3,500 yards, but in 2021 was limited by a shoulder injury last season. Howard redshirted his only season at LSU. Anticipating the focus on Tuesday's news conference, Kiffin told reporters during his opening statement, "I'm sure you have quarterback questions. All the guys practiced today and rotated in there, so they all look good." Kiffin didn't provide a timeline to make a decision on who starts. "I just see it being very competitive," he said. Sanders has been limited throwing during the offseason as he's recovered from shoulder surgery, but he participated in practice Tuesday. Kiffin said Dart, who passed for just shy of 3,000 yards last season, has thrown really well. To have some time to recover, he's gotten stronger and has looked really good and much improved, he added, so that's exciting. And again, it's a couple of things here with those guys. So Walker Howard, redshirted at LSU, he still has 4 years of eligibility. We talk about Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart went to USC and then went to Ole Miss, so he's got 3 more years of eligibility. And then we have Spencer Sanders, who played back in 2020, so he technically has 2 more years of eligibility because he's played 4, he has 1 more, and then another one with that COVID year. So there's a lot of things here. Again, I think we might be in a situation like the Arch Manning Quinn Ewers thing, where there's too many mouths to feed. Somebody's going to transfer. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, look out for that eventually here. Again, if it all matches up perfectly, Spencer Sanders plays and then Jackson Dart plays and then Walker Howard plays, that'd be great. Do I think that's 100% going to happen? That's a roll of a dice here. Overall, Kiffin said the depth and quality in the room is much different than late last season. To have 2 returning quarterbacks, Dart and Sanders, and a very high-profile recruit, Howard, in there that redshirted last year is really good. And a lot different than once Luke decided to transfer. Luke Altimer. Again, last year, Luke Altimer and Jackson Dart decided they were going back and forth between it. Jackson Dart was the guy. Kiffin said the evaluation of the quarterbacks will come down to 3 things: timing, accuracy, and decision-making. Those are 3 things that forever we've looked at, but we have a long time, spring and fall, to figure out and let it play out. Ole Miss started out last season 7-0 before losing 4 of its final 5 games, including a 17-point loss to Texas Tech in the Texas Bowl. The Rebs host Mercer on September 2nd to start next season. And we come over to check and see how they did last season. And again, they actually had a very, very good start to the season. However, it's one of those things where you come in and you look at it, and you're like, it might have been a little bit inflated here. You see that win over number 7 Kentucky. Kentucky was not the number 17 at the end of the season. They were on October 1st, but wins against Troy, Central Arkansas, at Georgia Tech, 42-0, win Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Kentucky. Again, so they only had 1 away game in the first 5. Then they go and they play at Vanderbilt, they win, okay? They play Auburn at home and they win, and then it gets tough. So if you look at this right here, at LSU, at Texas A&M, Alabama at home, at Arkansas, and then a home game against Mississippi State in a rivalry, and then a Texas Tech bowl game for the TaxAct Texas Bowl. So I checked the numbers here, and again, anybody here who is an Ole Miss fan, kind of fill me in on what happened the first half of the season and what happened the second half of the season, because I couldn't find commonalities in interceptions. The only one I would say in the Texas Tech, the bowl game here, they threw a lot. There was a couple interceptions there. There was games where, again, you get 240 passing, 214 rushing, and they lost to Arkansas. They gave them 42 points. You see the fact that nobody can really run the ball in this Mississippi State Mississippi game. So it's just a lot of things there that I couldn't really put together, but I do know they got to the meat of their schedule. They weren't as successful as they wanted to be. And you think about the guys here. So the crazy thing is, again, they're a little bit smaller from 1-1. So they got Jackson Dart, 6'2", 220 from Kaysville, Utah. He is Mormon. He went to USC. I know my friend is a BYU friend. He wanted him to go to there. He didn't. But then if you look at here what he did last season, 2,900 yards, 20 touchdowns, 11 picks, and 614 rushing and 1 rushing touchdown. About 6'2", 220. Spencer Sanders is about the same size and had about the same production too. So Spencer Sanders, so Jackson Dart, 6'2", 220. Spencer Sanders, 6'1", 210. So an inch and 10 pounds off of there. But you see his last season at Oklahoma State, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 391 rushing yards, and 8 touchdowns. And then you see the year before, 20 and 12, in addition to 668 and 6 touchdowns. So he's not going to be a guy who's going to have a super great touchdown-interception ratio. He is going to win you a lot of games. He did win a lot of games, and you think about that too. So there's him, there's Jackson Dart, and then there's also Walker Howard. Now, Walker Howard, again, in 2021, was the number 6 quarterback in the class, 4-star according to 247, and a 98 composite rating according to 247 Sports. 6'1", 195. You look at Jackson Dart, Spencer Sanders, Walker Howard, all of them are 2.0 quarterbacks that can throw and run. I mean, technically they would call that a dual threat, although I think that these quarterback rankings, they're starting to get to the point where everybody can run, that they kind of throw that dual threat out of the way, just whether or not you're a good quarterback or not. Again, they're all kind of built the same way for this offense. And you look and see what they have right now. So this is their season coming up here. So it kind of does the same thing, where in the last season, it started off a little slow, only had 1 away game in the first 5 games, and then they got really into some away games later on. They moved that up a little bit there. There are some tough September games. So we start home against Mercer, at Tulane, which is not going to be as easy as you think it's going to be. And then we have Georgia Tech at home, and then at Alabama, and then we have LSU. So it ends September 23rd and September 30th. At Alabama and LSU at home. That's a tough turnaround. And then Arkansas, a team that beat you on the road. And then at Auburn, I'm telling you, you can't predict Auburn. And then Vanderbilt and Texas A&M will soften up a little bit here. I don't know what to make of Texas A&M. I don't know if they're going to turn around on offense. They're their own situation. I have no idea. I know they've got plenty of talent. And then at Georgia, good luck there. And then UL Monroe, SEC crap week. It is what it is. And then at Mississippi State on a Thursday. So again, that's a quick turnaround there. You only got a couple days there. But it is what it is. That is a rivalry game. So it's one of those things where whoever these quarterbacks are, and this sounds a little crazy. So we're talking about the quarterbacks. The guy we really need to talk about is Quinshon Judkins. So Quinshon Judkins, freshman last season, 1,500 yards, 16 touchdowns. In fact, your boy was doing so good. I have to show you something that is so shocking. You can't even believe it when you really look at it. Quinshon and then the rest of the Ole Miss Rebels, they were so good at running the ball that you look here at their, the rushing yards per game. Again, Air Force is typically up front. Army is going to be close by, and then Navy's. Ole Miss is ahead of Navy. Ole Miss is such an explosive offense. They had more rushing yards than Navy, and all Navy does is run the ball. They average 85 passing yards a game. They literally are one of the best offenses in the country. They're actually a heavy run offense. A lot of people think, Lane Kiffin likes to sling around. They run a heavy run-pass option offense, and they run the crap out of the ball. 250 rushing a game. Even games that they lost, they rush for 200 yards. So, man, whoever takes over on this offense, all you got to do is just make sure you don't mess it up. You got plenty of weapons to work with. Quinshon's back there. He's a stud. Just don't mess this up. Keep going. You should be fine. So for Ole Miss, and again, it's one of those things where can the defense come around? Can the defense help them out? Are they going to be able to? I mean, they're definitely a hurry-up offense. You don't average more rushing yards than Navy, for God's sake, if you're not a hurry-up offense and you threw for 250 a game, something like that. The offense is going to be incredible. Whoever is the quarterback for this team is going to average, he's going to have 3,000 passing yards, 500 rushing yards, and 25 to 30 total touchdowns. That's just what's going to happen here. Now, whoever it's going to be, I don't know. And again, I think it's one of those things, the same thing with Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning. There's not enough mouths to feed, not enough. And again, maybe Spencer Sanders plays 2 years. He has 2 years of eligibility. I don't know, man, but I do know that Ole Miss this next season, one of the things you can't say about them is that they won't be deep at quarterback. All right, for all my Ole Miss fans and SEC fans, what do you guys think about this situation? Again, Ole Miss, I know last year 7-0, ended 8-5. Now where you want to be? Are you excited for them this upcoming season? Get in the comments right now and let me know. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I appreciate it. That's it for me, guys. I will see you guys later. I am out.